So here we have my final prototype for the Hook the Duck game in the Winter Wonderland VR experience. As you can see, I've created a 3D space themed around a Christmas park with different huts representing the different attractions in the park. The one we're focused on is the Hook the Duck, and as you can see, the movement is programmed into the ducks, but unfortunately I was unable to code in interaction with the player. So when the player picks up the fishing rod here, they unfortunately cannot hook the ducks, but you can see how the game would be played. There are also snowballs, which the player can throw at their opponents to try and disrupt them and prevent them from hooking ducks. The player could use their fishing rod to deflect snowballs thrown at them by the other players. If the player were to hook a duck and they would be hit by a snowball, the duck would fall back in the water to be lost. As you can see, there are the special ducks circling in the middle of the pond. These would be harder to get than the other ducks, but would give guaranteed amounts of points. The normal ducks would give a random amount of points, some of them giving no points at all, others giving you bonuses like more snowballs. As unfortunately we're unable to hook the ducks, there is a selection of ducks on the table behind the player. Now the player can pick these up and have a look and see the points that they'd score. So this duck would score us 25 points, 50 points, a snowball, 2 snowballs, 3 snowballs, 10 points, and 0 points. We can also see the special ducks available for the player to capture. This is the legendary duck, which would give the player a guaranteed prize of a cosmetic item. Here is the golden duck, which gives the player 100 points. You can see there underneath it. You can also see the metallic effect from the Substance Painter textures, reflecting the lighting quite nicely. It's especially shiny on the legendary duck. Here we have the silver duck, worth a guaranteed 50 points, and the bronze duck, worth a guaranteed 25. You can see from the movements of the ducks, the bronze duck is the slowest and easiest to capture, followed by the silver, then by the gold, and then by the legendary, which is incredibly hard to catch. The legendary would not appear in most games, it would be quite rare, encouraging players to play the game multiple times in an attempt to catch it. The game would be run with a timer, and once the timer is up, the points are tallied up, and this decides the winner. And the winner would win a cosmetic prize or a physical prize, depending on whether they use presents or snowflakes to buy into the game. The game can be played both standing and from a seated position to allow for all forms of playstyle. And above, we can see a few of the prizes that are on offer. In the final game, these would be 3D renderings of physical objects which would be sent to the address of the player should they win. I also want to draw attention to the hands. You can see the animations. This is me holding down the secondary trigger and primary trigger, and both. Using one animation and animation masks, these hands are fully animated to match the players. They're also physics objects and interact with each other and things in the world. You can see here I can move the rod along, or knock the ducks around, and the same was true with the snowballs that you saw me throw earlier. The hands will interact with the world around them, and I feel like this provides another layer of immersion that would not be possible with hands that weren't physics objects. It does mean, however, that objects have to hover above the hands or away from the hands to avoid clipping issues, which we can see a little bit here, unfortunately. This is perhaps better designed to be held in the right hand. Unfortunately, I did not have time to resolve these issues, but I was hoping to have a direct grab from the hands. But I went through 3 or 4 different variations of the hands, and another one just wasn't the time to do that. But that concludes the prototype demonstration. Thank you for listening.